Hello to my incredible Jonny fans. Hi, my name's Jonny, and today we are taking a look at the brand new headless model, the M6 from Sire. It feels like this bass has been coming out forever. I managed to get my hands on this bass for the first time at the NAMM show 2025. And so I've been really highly anticipating these basses coming out so that I could check them out. And the wonderful people at Sire have provided me with this bass today for this review. So thanks so much to them. And I have to let you know that that does mean this counts as an ad, even though I haven't been financially compensated for this video. The Sire Marcus Miller basses have been held in such high regard over recent times, and it's become such a staple in the more affordable guitar market. And today we've got the latest version of their M series shape basses, that being the headless M6. These come in a 4-string, 5-string and 6-string model, and today I've got the 5-string, and this one retails for about £730 right now in the UK. I've got it in this delightful surf green, but it also comes in a bounty of other finishes that you can check out on screen right now. Starting off at the top, I really like Sire's take on the headless headstock. I like that they've got the little logo here. As well as being headless, of course, this is also a multi-scale, you can see, with the angled frets, and compared to a normal 34-inch scale bass, this extends the scale of that B string to 35 inches and reduces the scale length of the highest string to 33. And what this means is that you get a nice tighter B string for, playing hard or certainly playing lower tunings, but also get a sweeter top end. It means that the bass is nice and even across the entire fretboard. Speaking of, on this rosewood fretboard, we have these inlays, and it's all about the little details, They did not have to do this. They have gone ahead on these kind of block inlays, got almost these little kind of gems in the middle of the inlay, and I think this is a really, really nice touch and something that I really appreciated. And someone else who appreciates nice touches, Thomann. Now, the M series might not be to everyone's taste in terms of body shape. I actually don't mind it at all. Normally I don't really like skinny horns like this, but I quite like it on this, and especially with the headless, I think it suits it really well. I actually owned an M4 years ago, and I loved the sound of that bass, but for me, the neck was just a little bit too skinny. And this one with the 5-string version feels really, really nice in your hand. Then we have 2 angled humbuckers from Sire, and these are attached to all of this knobbage that we've got going on here. There's so much going on. We've got, here we go, master volume, master tone, pickup blend, treble, mid-frequency, frequency boost and cut, bass boost and cut, series single parallel for each of the pickups, and active passive. This ain't your granddaddy's bass. Moving on up, we have Sire's brand new headless system, and when you look at it up close, you can see that the spacing in between these isn't quite symmetrical. The spaces are slightly different between these, a little strange, but overall it hasn't really affected the playability. From what I can tell, the strings still sit over the pickups correctly, and you've got nothing going off the edge or anything wrong with it. Something that I noticed. Another thing I noticed is that these are incredibly high quality. I've tuned this once since I've had it, which is almost surprising because when you sit it up, it sits on them, so they have to be high quality. I kind of think that this is a bit of a design flaw. It should recess into the body like these ones, but it rests on the tuners, which I can't imagine is good for long term, but they are super sturdy, so I'll give them that. But enough jibber jabber, let's have a listen to what this thing can do. We're going to have a listen to the DI and then through a cab sim, which is the Line 6 HX Stomp with a Galleon Kruger head and the Ampeg SVT 8x10 cab. So now I have got the Sire going straight into the Line 6 HX Stomp, and this is just a clean DI. We'll listen to that first with the pickup configurations, and then what we'll do is turn the amp sim on my favorite, and then start messing around with this EQ. First of all, let's listen to it in passive mode. This is with everything, both pickups on, tone all the way open, and then in series mode. Although it's knob central on here, I do really like that we do have the inclusion of a passive tone control. It means that when you bypass it, it's just these two knobs and that's it. And I think that this is a really, really nice and usable tone control that is really high quality. Before listening to the amp sim, let's engage this preamp to hear what it's doing on the DI. It sounds massive. Massive when we got it in the DI mode. It almost, if you're playing fingerstyle, you wouldn't even need an amp. Now this is with the mid control completely in the middle, nothing happening with it at all. Leave the frequency in the middle and scoop it all of a sudden. Boost it all the way. Honestly, that mid control I find a bit tricky to dial in. I just find myself preferring it when it's flat. Overall, I think this is my favorite sound, with the treble boosted all the way, the mid's flat, and then the bass boosted just a tad with everything on and all in parallel. Let's have a listen now to what it sounds like with the amps in. Now we've got the amp sim on, now there's a bit more saturation. It makes the single coil sound sound super thick when you got the preamp in these settings. Compared to parallel. Now let's have a listen to this with some drive. Oh my God, with single coil mode, this thing really sings with some drive. So there we go. Let me know in a comment down below what you think about the Sire M6. I think that Sire is at its best here. Their preamps are just so pristine and precise sounding. I really, really love some of the sounds that we could get out of here. I do think that it's a lot. I've criticized Sires in the past for just having a control plate on a Jazz that just goes on forever and ever and ever and ever. And normally I don't think there's such thing as too many knobs. But certainly I think that is kind of the case here. I really appreciate that we've got a master tone control. I feel like the quality of this pot is really, really fantastic. Even for this price point of 700, I think that is really great. When you've got the preamp off, I loved it in series mode. It gives you a bit of a volume boost and a bit pokier. I didn't really care for the single coil or the parallel sound when you haven't got that preamp engaged. But when you do have that 18 volt bad boy engaged, there's so many tones you can use here. Some really beefy sounds. To be honest, I would have been just as happy if this whole double stack knob wasn't there at all and that we just had it as a 2-band preamp. For me, I think we could have done away with one of these switches as well and just have a master series parallel single. It just kind of becomes option paralysis. It thought it sounded good when the mid was fine, like left as it was, flat. It all sounds brilliant, but personally I found myself not really utilizing some of the features that are there. I think overall the bass sounds fantastic and feels great. It's fantastic to play, and I particularly found myself going up the dusty end quite a lot. Where I found it to be the least comfortable was right down here. This edge of the mechanism that locks the strings in is really spiky. And so if you're wanting to like reach down here for that first fret, your finger is hitting on it and it's really uncomfortable. So I think that if you're playing heavy music and wanting to go from high up to low down, and certainly on that first fret quickly, you're gonna run into problems because that is gonna be painful hitting that at speed. I found it okay after a while, but yeah, certainly that bit is a little sharp for me, and it makes reaching this note here a little bit inconvenient and sometimes painful. But there we go. Overall, despite some strange design decisions on this bass, I think overall it's fantastic value for money, and the sounds within it kind of speak for themselves. But I want to know what you think in a comment down below. Sire have also sent me their really cool brand new V6 bass as well. So if you like the look of that and want to see me review that down the line, make sure you hit that subscribe button and that notification bell to stay up to date and get notified for when the review of this bad boy drops. Once again, thank you so much for watching. See you next time.